My teammates at the Y have allowed me many different things, from making sure I'm working hard every single day to being able to share my faith in Christ alone. My teammates push me not only in the pool, but out of the pool. Swimming at the Y has most importantly allowed me to share the love and joy that I've found in Jesus Christ, from allowing me to use these gifts of swimming that Christ has given me to my fullest. The Y has always allowed me to have a great job and has enabled me to volunteer to give back to the program by coaching or having a job as a swim lesson aide. Being a swim lesson aide has allowed me to teach kids who might swim, who might be future teammates. I get to learn to make my voice louder for coaching and become more of a leader. Being able to volunteer as a coach and for meets at the Y has been such a blessing. I've been able to get to know the little kids on the team and maybe even give them someone to look up to. Finally, swimming at the Y has given me amazing discoveries, such as how to deal with anxiety, and with that being able to be diagnosed with mental issues, which have allowed me to become a better student athlete. This is why the Y is very important in my life. It has also become a second home because I'm there so often. And I can't wait to see what's in store for me in my many years to come, because for me, this is just the beginning of my nationals journey. May we all swim fast and put everything we've got into our races. Good luck to all the swimmers, and especially the seniors, whether this might be your last meet or you're working to start a new chapter in your swimming career. May we bow our heads in prayer. Father God, may you allow us to swim our hardest, our best, give it our all to be able to glorify you in every way through our races, today and the rest of this week. May you enable us to have the strength we need to race fast. Amen.
Thank you, Amy. As a faith-based organization and as an inclusive organization, we certainly observe many faiths this month, the month of Ramadan, Passover beginning tomorrow, and of course, the Christian Holy Week. So we thank you for sharing in that devotional thought. This time we'll ask that you remain standing for our national anthem. At this time, we do have a special recognition we'd like to make. Come on up here, Bob. Annually, the YMCA Competitive Swimming and Diving Family awards the Joseph G. Rogers Award for dedication, accomplishments, and excellence in YMCA competitive swimming and diving. The award was established in 1974 as recognition of long and exceptional leadership, insight, dedication, and friendship by a man whose YMCA career touched and enriched the lives of countless young people. In his lifetime, Joe Rogers was the first recipient of the National Distinguished Service to Aquatics Award, was the organizer of the National Operating Council on Aquatics, and represented the YMCA on the U.S. Olympic Men's Swimming Committee. The Joseph G. Rogers Award, which stands 4 feet in height, weighs over 1,000 pounds, currently is located in the International Swimming Hall of Fame Museum in Fort Lauderdale, with each of our honorees since 1974, their name affixed. We're very pleased to recognize this year's honoree. Bob Turner is recognized for his long and impactful commitment to YMCA competitive swimming. Beginning in 1989, Bob served the Western Branch YMCA in Wilmington, Delaware as an official, and has continued to serve in progressive roles at the local, state, regional, and national levels for the past 34 years. Since moving to the Villages in Florida for his retirement, he continues to officiate local meets at all levels of competition, including Masters. This year, he is our meet director for our Centennial 2023 National YMCA Short Course Championships in Greensboro. He's been widely regarded as a tireless leader, focused on the details, while striving to create the best possible experience for athletes, coaches, officials, and spectators at all levels of YMCA swimming competition. Please join me in congratulating our 2023 Joseph G. Rogers Award winner, our meet director, Bob Turner.
I'd like to thank my wife, Donna, for giving me the opportunity and the time to be able to do this. And I'd like to thank all the volunteers that have been on the teams over the 10 years that I've been meet director for doing all the tasks they've done to make this possible for me to win this award. Thank you.
It's time for the fan face-off. Here are contestants. We got Chuck and Ben, Jordan and Jade from Wisconsin, Mom, Dad, and Nana, Susan, AKA L, Cameron's here, Tony Kennedy, Lisa M, and anybody else that wants to join in, let's do a little Rascal Flats. All right, we're gonna change it up midstream. How about a little bit of this? Lane 3 timer, we see you getting jiggy with it. We got some stretching and rehearsing to do for that. Give them a big hand. Friendship Y and Canal Y to the time trial room Friendship Y, Canal Y to the time trial room. Following teams to the help desk: Bangor, Bremerton, Friendship, Greater Somerset County, Mansfield, Tri-County, West Virginia, Mansfield, Tri-County, Waynesboro, Worcester, and YMCA of Austin to the help desk. Are you ready for some Tuesday swimming? Our first event on the men's course, event 202, men's 200-yard backstroke. The championship meet and national record 141.48 set by Austin Katz, Sarasota, Florida, back in 2016. 9 heats in this preliminary event. We'll start with heat number 1, Mr. Referee. Over on the women's course, event 201, the women's 200-yard backstroke, Megan Small, York, Pennsylvania, the championship meet and national record, 151.56 set in 2016. 11 heats in this preliminary event. Here comes heat number 1, Mr. Referee. I did want to point out in heat number 1 of the women, Casey Freeman in lane number 3, our Paralympic national champion in this event. Quick fan roll call this morning. If you hear your section, check in, let me know that you're here. Let me hear from section number 1. Anyone here from section number 1? There we go. We're combining you sections 9 and 10. Good morning, let's hear from you. 9 and 10. They're napping over there. Good morning, section number.
And that's heat 3 of 9 on the men's side. Your leader at the 100. And here come your leader at the 100. And here come the women on their finishing up here, and it'll be Addison Dispo. Nice swim there for Addison from Ridley. And Addison goes 2:05.72. And now your leader on the deck unofficially for Addison Dispo. Maddie Fox second, Sophie Curry in third in heat number 2. So 2:05.72, now your leader on the deck. And last year it took a 2:01.12 to get into the C final on the women's side. And over on the men's side, that's Jay Owens going 1:53.28. Now your leader, Jay from Foothills. Jay Owens from Foothills goes 1:53.28, your new leader on the deck. And over on the women's side now, heat number 3 of 11 in the pool. That's Anderson in 1, Colbert 2, Farmer 3, McKenzie 4, Jeffers 5, Sarvis 6, Milner 7, Myler 7, and Woolwell in lane number 8. And over on the men's side, heat number 4 of 9 in the water. Your time to beat 1:53.28. Jay Owens out of heat number 3 is Nutzel in 1, Patrick 2, Sutherland 3, Burke 4, Adcock 5, Platnoff 6, Bonefils 7, and Miller in number 8. Adcock out first in 25.41, and through the 100, Tegan Jeffers is your early leader through the 100 halfway through. Tegan Jeffers from the Greater Nashua YMCA. I think I saw her at the airport in Philadelphia boarding the same flight to get down here on Saturday morning or Sunday morning. So 1:02.41 she was out. And it's Adcock still at 53.13. Your leader on the men's side, followed by Sarvis and Jeffers. Now trying to move up on the women's side up there in lane number 1, Aspen Wowell at 1:35.40, having a pretty good back half. But in the center of the pool here on the men's side, well out in front in this heat number 4 is Davis Adcock from Upper Palmetto. And on the women's side, there's Avery Anderson. I've got to get my lane straightened out here, but Avery Anderson from Birmingham, Michigan. She goes 2:05.85. So your top time remains with Addison Dispo from Ridley at 2:05.72 unofficially. On the men's side, finishing up first, Davis Adcock. He goes 1:52.62, and he is your new leader on the deck. So Davis Adcock 1:52.62, followed by Sutherland and Bonfils in that heat. And on the one side, a little adjustment there in lane number 8. And we'll see who these swimmers are coming up here in heat number 4 on the women's side. We got McEnroe in 1, Keefe in 2, McCara in 3, Abzarni 4, McBlain 5, O'Toole 6, Salkow 7, and Francis in 8. And lane number 1 at the top of your screen on the women's side, and lane number 1 at the bottom of your screen on the men's side. Men's side staging for heat number 5. That's Myers in 1, Ronayne, Tristan Ronayne from Ridley, Pennsylvania. Saw brother Tommy here the other day, legendary Tommy. Graziano in lane 3, Charlton 4, Hoffman 5, Crest 6, Provide 7, and Farner in 8. So on the women's side, out first, Celia Francis down here in lane number 8. She was out 28.57. And there's your start on the men's side. And in heat number 5, and on the men's side, as I mentioned, I think on the women's side I mentioned it took a 2:01.12 to get into the C final last year, and on the men's side, out of the prelims, it took a 150.47 to get into the B final. It took 149.67, and to get into the A final last year, 147.73. It took, and on the women's side, as I mentioned before, took a 2:01.12 to get into the C final, 2:00.55 B final, and to get into the final last year, 158.91. And on the men's side, halfway through, 52.61 for Blaze Hoffman from the Central Bucks family YMCA, coached by Chris Ryan and John Foff, a couple of swimmers that I knew way back in the day. Matter of fact, Chris Ryan used to come to Water Babies class in Hatboro with his mom and dad on Saturday morning. So great job, Chris Ryan, getting your team here. And on the women's side, that's Maggie O'Toole with the 2:04.65, followed by Abzarni and McBlain. So 2:04.65 for McBlain from Ridley. She now unofficially is your leader on the deck. Over on the men's side, heat number 5 in the water, churning, heading for home. And right now looks like lane number 3, Patton Graziano goes 150.95. Great swim right there for Peyton Graziano. I'm sorry, Davis Adcom. Peyton Graziano at 150.95 out of heat number 5. The new leader on the deck, Peyton Graziano, 150.95. And on the women's side, in the water right now, Trenchalane's in 1, Bailey 2, Gusson 3, McLaren 4, Summers 5, Zenart 6, Johnson 7, and Sluck in 8. And on the men's side, this is heat number 6 in the water, Turley in 1, McLaughlin 2, Pierce 3, Cumsel 4, Skibbo 5, Sieber 6, Mao 7, and Mangan in 8. This is the 6th heat on the men's side, just before our circle seated heats. And Sluck is out first on the women's side, Sieber on the men's side. Vicky Sluck has a 1:00.98 going out. And here on the men's side, time to beat 150 on the men's side. Peyton Graziano, your early leader. Kunzel out at the 100 is your leader. And on the women's side, Ella Gusson from Westport Weston. On the women's side, 2:04.65 is your top time. And that was with Grace McBlain. And center of the pool on the women's side right now, looking very strong on the finish. And that's Alexandra Summers. Great swim right there. Lexi Summers, she goes 2:03.72. She'll be your leader on the deck. Great swim for Lexi, followed by Gusson and then Sluck. So she has your top time leader on the deck unofficially. And on the men's side, finishing up pretty strong right there, Hunter Kunzel goes 150.93. So now Hunter is your leader on the deck going into the circle seated heats at a 150.93. We'll keep our eye on this final circle seated heat with Daniel the Real Deal from Cumberland, Maryland, trying to take down potentially a national age group record and our championship meet record. He's seated under those times. So on the women's side, in the water, heat number 6 in the water, and that's Judy in 1, Kidney in 2, Maltsev in 3, Kutsev in 4, Fox 5, O'Leary 6, Lemler 7, and Fox in lane number 8. And on the men's side, first of our 3 circle seated heats is in the water. And we have Jimmy Besson from Greater Spartanburg. Peter Horan is in lane 2, 14th last year in the 100 back. Regional Y Western Connecticut. Teddy Blake didn't swim this event last year from Yodas in 3. Lane number 4, Tyler Kuderman was 20th last year moving up. He's from Boise. Sam Lorenz is in 5-6 last year in this event from Schrader. Rayburn Cole, 43rd last year from McGraw's in 6. Luke Lamb didn't swim in this event last year, is in 7 from Schneider. And lane number 8, Colin Kavanaugh from Banwood Scotch Plains did not swim this event last year either. So out first on the men's side is Sam Lorenz. He's out 50.51. And over on the women's side, halfway through, I'm sorry, 3/4 of the way through, it's Sophia Kratai. She's at 129.44, your leader here. And here we go on the men's side. Still, now it's Kuderman just ahead of Lorenz. Tyler Kuderman will be finishing up here. He was 1:18.23. About a quarter of a second ahead of where Lorenz was at the 150 mark. And over on the women's side, Sophia, she goes 2:01.75. That'll be your new leader on the deck. She's from Burbank, YMCA. 2:01.75, followed by Maltsev and then Lemler. And over on the men's side, that'll be is Sam Lorenz. He goes 1:44.93. Great swim right there for Sam Lorenz from Schrader YMCA. Lorenz followed by Kuderman and then Blake. And on the women's side, this will be heat number 7. And we'll have Scott in 1, Kovsky 2, Beverini 3, Vincent 4, Ramsey 5, Mohomans 6, Glass 7, Schweikert in 8. Top time remains with Sophia Cruddy. She's at 2:01.75. And on the men's side, this will be our second of our 3 circle seated heats. And lane number 1, Ian Duncan, 61st last year from Birmingham. Woody Kupski in lane number 2, 31st last year from Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. Lane number 3, Nathan Walker, 9th last year from York and York County. Lane number 4, David King was 8th last year from Piedmont. Lane number 5, Will Myers, 17th last year from Emmy Lyons. Lane 6, Bradley Boyd, 47th last year from Tri-County. Lane 7, Oliver Stahl, 105th in the 100 back last year from Greater Spartanburg. And Lime Funk from Schrader is in lane number 8. And so we've got the women's side right now moving out at the 100 mark. That's Cadence Vincent. She's out 55.82. Cadence Vincent from Elkins, Virginia. That's a big swim this morning. Trying to get back to that championship final. And that championship final, it took a 2:00.94 to get into that last year. She could be below that, or should be well below that. And over on the men's side, center of the pool right there in lane number 4, that's David King. As I mentioned, King was 8th last year. He's from Piedmont. He's out 49.86, just below where Sam Lorenz was out. Sam was out in 50.51. So on the women's side, pretty big lead here in heat number 7. And on the men's side, as I mentioned, it took to get into the C final last year, 1:53.12. We'll get some fast swimming coming up, hopefully. And there she is on the women's side, 1:57.31. Great swim right there for Cadence Vincent from Elkins. Your new leader on the deck unofficially, Cadence Vincent. Great swim. And over on the men's side, there's a real fast swim right there. David King going 143.73. 143.73, two couple seconds below his seed time. That is now unofficially your second fastest time. King followed by Myers and then Welker. Myers is at 46.96. Welker is at a 47.08. Some real good, real fast swimming right now on the men's and women's side. And on the women's side, heat number 8 in the water right now. Lane in 1, Kubiak 2. Virginia Hastings off the Bucknell this fall from Wilton. She's in lane number 3. Julia Addison in lane 4. Zippels in 5. Claiborne in 6. Dickinson 7. And Winnicki in lane number 8. And on the men's side, we've got our final heat in the water. We'll keep our eye on lane number 4, Daniel Deal. He's got comes in with a 139.62. We've got Jewett in 127th last year, Johnson in 2, 37th last year, Stoner in 3, 5th last year. Deal are defending champions in 4. And as I mentioned, comes in with a big seed time. My goodness, Daniel's out in 23.93. And Barnacle, Kenneth Barnacle's in 5, 15th last year. Carson Reisner is in 6, 48th last year. John Broster is 28th last year, is in 7. Jonathan Houle, 52nd last year, is in lane number 8. And over on the women's side, just off our national record right now of 49.72. He's at 50.33. We know he's not going to go full out. I've seen, and Bruce has seen, and we've all seen Daniel Deal over the years. He tends to hold back in these morning swims, gets a lane at night, and then blast it. So Daniel Deal, center of the pool, on either side of him, Reef Stoner and Kenneth Barnacle. And on the women's side, coming up on that last 25, it was Zippel at the 150. But down here in lane number 7, Maggie Dickinson having a last real good 50. And it is, it's Maggie Dickinson. She goes 2:01.85, followed by Kubiak and then Zippel. So Daniel Deal, he goes 143.97. He'll be unofficially our second seed going in tonight, followed up by David King unofficially. So it was Dickinson in that last. She was a 2:01. Our top time so far remains with Cadence Vincent at 157.31. So Deal at 143, Barnacle 144.99, Stoner at 146.50. Deal at 143.97, comes in with that 139 seat. So we should see him go a little bit faster, as with all the guys, hopefully tonight. So on the men's side, coming up next is the 100 butterfly, your national record. Thomas Heilman, 45.81, your championship meet record. Brendan Burns, set back in 2021, 46.10. Burns just named the Big Ten athlete of the year, winner athlete of the year. I mean, he had a great conference for the conference. Had a great NCAA championship meet. So over on the women's side, we're still on the backstroke, heat number 9 of 11. Holiday in 1. So first of our 3 circle seeded heats. 22nd last year, Jewett. 16th last year's in 2. Hobjohn in 3. 8th last year, Penny. 3rd last year's in 4. Logan 17th last year's in 5. Page 30th last year in 6. Louts set is in lane 7, and Tun Henfeld, 26th and 100 back, is in lane number 9. So Logan's out first on the women's side in a 57.09 for Claire Logan. On the men's side, your Hunter Flyers are in. Your early leader there is Cooper Voss out of lane number 3. We've got Colin Farher in 4 and Cooper Tinsley in 5. There'll be a total of 22 heats on the men's 100 butterfly. Still Logan on the women's side, and finishing up on the men's side, that's a 52.25 for Colin Farher from Madison, New Jersey. So 52-25 for Colin Farraher. Second heat in for the men. Chan in 1, Blum 2, Werkel 3, Bruns 4, Casares in 5, Hilliard in 6, and Top in 7 on the women's side. There's Hayden Penny. She goes 157.22. She will be unofficially your new leader on the deck. So Hayden Penny from Greater Spartanburg at a 157.22, now just ahead of Cadence Vincent. On the men's side, your leader, Jacob Bruns, out of Lacrosse area YMCA. He's in lane number 4. We'll see if he can hold off the field. And will be Finn Hilliard from Lansdowne YMCA. So Finn goes 52.34. And on the women's side, second of our 3 circle seated heats is in the water. Bendakis, 43rd last year, is in 1. McLaughlin, 19th last year, is in 2. And then we have Hoffman, 10th last year, is in 3. Rodriguez, Sarah Rodriguez from the Oranges YMCA in New Jersey. She was 2nd last year, is in 4. Devin Sargent, 11th last year, is in 6. Clarissa Benzaudenhout, 24th last year's in 6. Colburn, 25th and 100 back last year's in 7. And Wyerda, 46th last year, is in lane number 8. Over on the men's side, heat number 3 in, Nicolussi in 1, Danielle 2, Oliveira 3, Calderon 4, Kennedy 5, Crowley 6, Chow 7, and Hahn in 8. And it will be Crowley. He goes 51.57. He'll be your new leader on the deck. Colleen Crowley from Foothills YMCA. Their new top time through 3 heats. And on the women's side, your leader right now, Sarah Rodriguez. She was 2nd last year. She's at 125.93. Looks like Sargent next to her to 126.63 through to 150. Time to beat so far is a 157.22 on the women's side. That's Claire Logan, okay, with Scotch Plain. I'm sorry, Hayden Penny had your top time. And there we go with a 156.11 for Rodriguez. So she will now be your leader on the deck unofficially. And on the men's side, we now have in lane number 1, Austin Walton, Wilton Family Y, Wahoos. In lane number 1, Zhao in 2, Edison 3. Lane 4 is empty. De Silva Grandin in 5, Thompson 6, Wable 7, and Ritchie in 8. Zhao's out in 23.92, your early leader. And heat number 11 on the women's side is now in the water. So Kimberly Shannon, 23rd last year's in 1. Krishna Bezaudenhut, 15th last year's in 2. Elizabeth Beam, 13th last year in 3. Leah Shackley, our defending champion, is in 4. And Maya Zwikert, 4th last year's in 5. Lauren Clifford, 12th last year's in 6. Ian Dickinson, 54th last year's in 7. Julia Bardo, 4th in the 4am last year, is in line number 8. Leah Shackley was out in 25.80 on the 50. And over on the men's side, we have heat number 5 in the water. Wong in 1 from Donza 2. Boniowski 3. Demaro 4. Dolly High 5. Lee 6. Grissi 7. And Gaylord in 8. So look out, it's Megan Small, I believe, is your national record holder, and Leah Shackley is under her record pace. So Leah Shackley from the Blair Regional YMCA coming in looking great this morning. Over on the men's side, Chase Grissi at a 51.78. takes the heat number 5 on the men's side. So it looks like Philem Crowley at a 51.57. So here comes, she's at 124.12 for Leah Shackley, goes 30.15. So the record on the women's side is a 151.56. We're not going to see that this morning, maybe tonight. But she goes 154.30, and she will hold down lane number 1 unofficially tonight. We'll move over into the women's side on the 100 freestyle or butterfly events over on the men's side. We still have heat number 6 now in the water, and that's Owen Eisenhofer in 1, Vatican in 2, Council 3, Patterson 4, Gross 5, Gould 6, Green 7, and Hamrick in 8. And that looks like Hayden Gould at a 51.73. Nice swim there. And on the women's side, we've got heat 1 of 16 in the water. Caitlin Ties is your National 1 Championship meet record holder, 52.43 from Greater Flint. 1 of 16 in the water right now on the women's side. Mel Homans in 3, Dobb 4, Baker in 5. Again, top of your screen, lane number 1 on the women's side, lane number 1 at the bottom of your screen on the men's side. Sophie Baker out first on the women's side, 25.95. And over on the men's side, heat number 7 is in the water. Laura in 1, Langenlund 2, Buck 3, Bossler Kilmer 4, Bird 5, Everly 6, Volpe 7, and Voitish in 8. Voitish out first at 24-21. Fairly close field here. On the women's side, finishing up, that's Bridget Dobb at a 58.50 from Summit Branch, New Jersey. And on the men's side, that'll be Cameron Bird. He goes 52.44 for Western Branch, Delaware. Nice swim right there for Cameron Bird, followed by Laura Elder. Then Everly from Camp YMCA. Heat number 8 on the men's side now in the water. And over on the women's side, we've got Walbert in 1, Camelone 2, Williamson 3, Upton 4, Dwyer 5, Kufo 6, Poshhawk 7, Scarabatolo in lane number 8. And on the men's side, Yatso in 1, Littleton 2, Creepin 4, Parker 5, Ben Yosef Parker's in 4, Ben Yosef in 5, Tomasco in 6, McMasters in 7, and Codd in 8. We've got an empty lane in lane number 4. Looks like Will Parker is out. And on the women's side, there's Scarabatolo at 58.37. She is unofficially your leader on the deck from the Dick Family YMCA. And on the men's side, there's Ben Yosef at 52.11. Ben Yosef, nice swim right there from Randolph, 52.11 for Atai Ben Yosef from Randolph, New Jersey. Heat number 9 staging up for the men. And on the women's side, we've got heat number 3 in the water. Lazan Grande in 1, Low 2, Pilatus 3, Duval 4, Dorsch 5, Landers 6, Brown 7, and Kwong in 8. And on the men's side, Edmondson in 1, Sitzma in 2, Jordan 3, Garduluk 4, McKittrick 5, Torres 6, Gomez 7, and Kukovecki in lane number 8. Out first was Roman Torres, New York Y on the men's side, and on the women's side, finishing up at a 57.78. Jimena Mason Grande at 57.78. That is your new leader on the deck. Nice swim. And on the men's side, Colin Jordan goes 51. I'm sorry, it is It's Colin Jordan at 51.15. And he will be your new leader on the deck in Greater Spartanburg. And on the women's side in the water, heat number 4 of 16. Bellissimo in 1, Gill 2, Blankenship 3, Swenson 4, Bettencourt 5, Gillen 6, Tuvalakas in 7, and Schwartz in 8 on the men's side. We've got Skibbo in 1, Karsmek 2, Glatt 3, Blue 4, Rentala 5, Bachelor 6, Stakowskis in 7, and Farner in 8. So Bachelor, your early leader on the men's side, and winning heat number 4 on the women's side. It looks like Bellissimo, she goes 57.33. And looks like she will now have the leading, would be your unofficial leader on the deck from below the YMCA. And on the men's side, Kai Bachelor goes 50.91. Great swim from Lakeland Hills. And he is now your leader on the deck unofficially. So we'll move over to our heat number 5 on the women's side. In the water, Derico in 1, Ivanovich 2, Bevel 3, Riley 4, Zakis in 5, Frondoza 6, Rigas 7, and Sydney Lillis from the Rottweiler Wahoos is in lane number 8 at the bottom of your screen. Over on the men's side, Leighton in 1, Lagamo in 2, Smiley 3, Adams 4, Tasker 5, Yost 6, Walter 7, and Estep in 8. Leighton's out in 23.72. And on the women's side, look at that, Sid Lillis, she goes 57.39. That'll be your second fastest time, I believe, or third fastest time so far through 5 heats. As we move through, we've got Leighton goes 50.83. So Bachelor's at 50.83. I'm sorry, that was not Bachelor. It was Leighton at 50.83. And over on the women's side, we have in the water. We have heat number 6 for the women. Bodie in 1, Gal 2, Johnson 3, Li Wang 4, Ted Hunfeld 5, Bronx 6, Robert 7, and Size in 8. And on the men's side, heat number 12 in the water. Clayton 1, Casano 2, Mile 3, Walker 4, Williams 5, Humpert 6, Morris 7, and Wilkins in lane number 8. And there on the women's side, 58.00 is Sophia Liwana. Nice swim right there. We'll move over to heat number 7. And on the men's side, coming through on heat number 12 now. And it will be a 50.97 for Enrique Iturbe Casano from Greater Somerset County. Still your leader, unofficially Leighton at a 50.83. And on the women's side, heat number 7 is 16 in the water. Kim in 1, Vincent 2, Rubush in 3, Gowetzky 4, Wiles 5, Hirschberger 6, Freeman in 7, and Hyman in 8 on the men's side. Yukvid in 1, Young in 2, Todd 3, Krieger 4, Smith 5, Pham 6, Beal 7, and Dubek in lane number 8. So Smith's out first in the 23.97. That's Camden Smith from Franklin YMCA. And on the women's side, it was 25.93 out first for Cadence Vincent. And there's Vincent at a 56.68 from Elkins. We saw Vincent earlier in this meet. And on the men's side, we've got Colin Pham at a 51.67. Coming up on the men, heat 14 in the water for the women is heat number 8. And it's Kyer in 1, Ross 2, Nushina in 3. Potorella in 4. Hunt 5. Lopez in 6. Art 7. And Herbert in lane number 8. Empty lane for the men. On the men's side, Edwards 1, Kilponen 2, Watkins 3, Rising 4, Funk in not in 5. In lane 6, Pennington 7 is Harris, and Whitens in lane number 8. So 51-63. Looks like Colin Pham has your lead on the deck, and that's Lucy Art. She goes 57 forward 54. Swim for Lucy Art. Your leader on the deck looks to be Cadence Vincent. And there is Will Kilponen. He goes 50.16. Now your leader on the deck for the men. 14 heats through of 22. Heat number 9 in the water for the women. Frank in 1, Lee 2, Phillips 3, Sodek 4, Wilson 5, McBlain 6, Havas 7, and Castro in 8. And over on the men's side, Williams in 1, Schaefer 2, Gibbons 3, Francis 4, Rock 5, Paleo Crassus in 6, Shoes 7, and Iceless in 8. 15 in for the men. Heat number 9 in for the women. Williams out first, 23-26. And over on the women's side, we had Carly Frank. She was out 26-07. And there on the men's side, Carly Frank, she goes 56-42. She will be your leader on the deck unofficially. Great swim right there by Carly Frank. Over on the women's side. And on the men's side, it looks to be Patrick Gibbons. He goes 50.71. Nice swim by Patrick Gibbons from Pal Causey Jr. And Carly Frank is your leader. Megan Unruh in heat number 10 is in lane number 1. Francis in 2, Dickey in 3, Bonavia in 4, Nowoswiak in 5, Bailey 6, Price 7, and Everly in 8. Heat 10 for the women. Francis out first in 26-64. And on the men's side, heat number 16 in the water. That's Vance 1, Muller 2, Jorrigo in 3, Huang in 4, Cole 5, Johnson 6, Ballard 7, and Wang in 8. Out first on the men's side, 23-11, Lucas Jaurigu. And on the women's side, there's Megan Unruh. She goes a 57.02. Pretty good swim right there for the young lady from Boyertown, Pennsylvania. And on the men's side now finishing up, it's Lucas Jaurigu. He goes 50.10, and he now is your leader on the deck unofficially. Coming up on the men's side, heat number 17. Time to beat 50.10. And on the women's side, heat number 11 in the water. We've got Jones in 1, Fox 2, Johnson 3, McGann 4, Bull 5, Hinson 6, Meyer in 7, Montgomery in 8. So give a shout out to, I guess it's Brian Bull. I think it's a brother of Colleen Bull. Just watched him swim in the Mets championships up there at Rutgers a few weeks ago. So 23-36 out for Fife on the men's side. So Wade in 1, Myers 2, Green 3, Drake 4, Fife 5, Edmondson 6, Kraft 7, and Ferrari in lane number 8, heat 17. And over on the women's side, we just finished up there in that heat. And on the men's side, finish it up with Edmondson from Goldboro going 50.66. So pretty good swim there for Eli Edmondson. That 50.5 was just behind him by 2 100. So on the women's side right now, Latini in 1, Rourke 2, Richards 3, Osada 4, Tyler in 5, Bush 6, Luttrell 7, Michelle in 8. Good to see the Tyler family in the water, and the Cheshire Y Sea Dogs. Over on the men's side, Eckler out first in 22:48. So that's heat number 18 in the water. Hidalgo in 1, Zaratorski in 2, Mao 3, Silverstein 4, Alexi in 5, Reese 6, Eckler 7, Jen Kovic in lane number 8. So Shane Eckler well out in front. And over on the women's side, we just finished up there. And next up is heat number 13. So Eckler goes 48.80 on the men's side. And he is your new leader on the deck. In the pool for the women is heat number 13. McKyer in 1, Wilson in 2, Mitchell 3, Watson 4, Hootie in 5, Leonard in 6, Cudlack in 7, Claiborne in lane number 8 on the men's side. Heat number 19 now in the water. Spagnoletti in 1, Redding in 2, Kessler 3, Estep in 4, Aguilar 5, Herring 6, Sullivan 7, Ponce de Leon in lane number 8. And on the women's side out first is Kratai. She's 26.07 for Burbank, 13 years old. And on the men's side, 22.84 for Jack Sullivan. He's out first for Schrader. And on the women's side, they finish up. Kratai goes 56.43. Great swim right there for Sophia Kratai, 56. And on the men's side, we got Zach Redding. Great swim. He goes 49.59. So Zach Redding from Western Delaware goes 49.59. But Shane Eckler has the top time of 48.80 so far. And on the women's side, we got a first circle seated heat in the water. Collins in 1, 16th in the 53 there, Kilponen, 52nd last year's in 2, and in 3 is Foster, 27th last year. Thompson was second last year's, she's in 4, Fulton's in 5, 5th last year. Lawrence in 6, 11th last year. Larson 43rd last year's in 7, and Napier is lane number 8. We'll see what this time looks like. There's a 53.13 for Emily Thompson, your new leader on the deck. As I mentioned, she was second in this event last year on the men's side. Heat number 20 in the water. Pretty good swim right there. Finishing up at Brendan Whitfield. He was second in the 200 and the 50 freeze last year from West Virginia. He is now your leader on the deck. And on the women's side, heat number 15, second circle seated heat. Baumgartner in 1, Washburn 2, Cudlack 3, 10th last year. Green 4th last year's in 4. Lane number 5 is Coe, 3rd last year. Padilla 15th last year's in 6. Clifford 18th last year's in 7. Truscott 47th last year's in lane number 8. On the men's side, Eichscheid 15th last year's in 1. 2 is Condon 4th last year. Ortega 19th last year is in 3. Micah Davis was not in the meet last year. He's in 4. Kyra Hollis 9th last year. Jarrett Payne in lane 6. 8th last year. Dietz 38th last year. And Satterfield is in lane number 8. So we've got Kyra Hollis in lane number 5. And it will be 48.64 for Micah Davis. Swim there for Micah. And on the women's side, your final heat in Schweikert, 63rd last year's in 1. Sherrod, 17th last year's in 2. Headley, 9th last year's in 3. Leah Shackley, that swim this event last year's in 4. Berlin's in 5. We know Shackley was in the 2 back earlier this year. Emily Way is in 8th last year. In lane 6, she was 8th last year. Kidney, 42nd last year's in 7. Thomas in 8. Nice swim. We've got moving up now in lane 1, Dostal, Coogan Russell's in 2, Gould 3 on the men's side. Jones in 4, Mills in 5. Applebakoff in 6, Taylor in 7, and then Emin in 8 for the men. And then over on the women's side, Leah Shackley, she goes 52, 69. So great there, swim right there for Leah Shackley. Going to be our top seed tonight. We'll move over to the women's 200 breast, and on the men's side, there's Roman Jones going 48-21. Nice swim for Roman Jones. We're going to be transitioning over to the 200 breaststroke. This will be our final event of this morning. And we've got 13 heats on the men's side. We've got 13 heats on the women's side. So your national championship record, national record is Tia Sims, 209.50 from Bounds, Alabama, and your championship meet record, Savannah Faulkner, and Middle Tigner, 210.79. Max McHugh on the men's side, he holds the championship meet record at 153.59. We just saw him take the 100 breaststroke from the NCAA. Matt Fallon, 151.39, holds our national record from Somerset County. And Max McHugh from Door County. And on the women's side right now, heat number 1 in the water, Lexi Glenecki from Woodson YMCA is in lane 3. Samantha Jackson in lane 4 from Cheshire, Connecticut. And Lindsay Lowers from Birmingham, Michigan is in lane number 5. On the men's side, 3 swimmers in heat number 1. Gregory Uthvid from Greater Somerset County is in 3. Matt Christensen in 4 from Miami County, Ohio. And in lane number 5 from Illinois Valley, Owen Phillips, whose dad we interviewed this morning, got that trivia question correct. So there's Owen swimming and his parents up in the stands today. So we'll have the results momentarily here of the women's 2 back. And you can see those up online for Meet Mobile. They are posted now. So pre-scratch results. We will be swimming that D final for the 15 and unders, or the 15 and under group tonight. So there'll be 4 heats tonight, swim at finals. That's pretty awesome tonight. Don't forget the parade that starts tonight. 5 o'clock, we'll be starting those opening ceremonies and the parade of athletes, and just a wonderful evening of YMCA activities and swimming, celebrating our 100th anniversary. So the opening ceremonies do start at 4:50 tonight, 4:50. And over on the women's side, we've got Lexi Glenicki at 227.44. And on the men's side, pushing their way through to the finish. And it will be Christensen in a 212.16. So that's through heat number 1. Christensen, your early leader on the men's side, and on the women's side, Lexi Glenicki from Woodson Wide at 227.44. In the water on the women's side now, heat number 2 of 13. Speakman in 2, Sadowski in 3, Hoffman 4. Lau is at 5, Sullen 6, and Zhang in 8. And over on the men's course, heat number 2 of 13 in the water. Devizia in lane number 2, Wang 3, Carlton 4, Pennington 5, Page 6, and Rissman in lane number 8. Rissman out first at 28.40. 142 on the men's side, and on the women's side, out first was Sadowski, Mara Sadowski at 32.09. Mara Sadowski from the Phoenixville YMCA just outside of Philadelphia. And on the men's side, Morocco Risman from Prattville YMCA. Once again, bottom of your screen on the men's side is lane number 1. Your top of the screen is lane number 8. And that's reversed on the women's side. Lane number 1 on the women's side is at the top of your screen. Lane number 8 at the bottom. Risman's still your leader on the men's side, a 101.84. You can see him up there in the green cap. And on the women's side, pretty tight here in the 200 breaststroke. But Risman, your leader on the men's side, trying to push that for home. Sadowski at 146.62 from Phoenixville. She's in lane number 3. You can see her up there at the top of your screen, 3 lanes down. And here comes Rocco Risman. And he's got another 50 to go. Now just edged out, looked like by Page and Risman are tied at 137.51 through that 50. So Risman trying to hold off Page, or Page trying to hold off Risman as they push for the finish. And on the women's side, Sadowski she finishes up at a 224.89. She'll be a leader on the deck unofficially. And right next to her was her training partner, teammate Speakman. And over on the men's side, it was Rocco Risman. He goes 212.57. Rocco from Prattville. So your early leader remains Christensen from Miami County, Ohio, 212.16. At Miami, I believe, is the same Y that Zach Apple is from. Zach and I had a nice conversation last night about calling his races out in Indianapolis. Long course races, he remembers them, he sees them streaming. Once in a while, he was sending back a picture of the two of us so he could put a face to the voice back a few years ago. They were probably like 2015, 2014 era. You know what Apple did in the last Olympic Games. Gold medalist here with us for a few days. So heat number 3 on the women's side. Van Suvan in lane number 1, Fleener in 2, Fisher 3, Kirby 4, Wagner 5, Stanton 6, Barton 7, Livingston in lane number 8. And over on the men's side, heat number 3 in the water, Young 1, Warner 2, O'Leary 3, Meyer 4, Meehan 5, Sternek, Key in 6, Wolf 7, and Zhao in lane number 8. So Young's out first on the men's side, 101.32. Robert Young from Greater Somerset County, 101.32, your early leader. And on the women's side right now, it was Paige Fisher up there in lane number 3 from the upper main line wide. Went up on the 150 mark. She's at 144.64, splitting 36.59 on that last 50. Tightening up on the men's side. Still Young down here in lane number 1. You can see him. He's got the white cap going down here in lane number 1. So Robert Young, Greater Somerset County, was 135.77 through the 150. And here comes Paige Fisher. Time to beat so far, 224.89. Can she get there and get that? Yep, she's got a 222.92. So Paige Fisher now unofficially your leader on the deck. And on the men's side, it finishes up Joey Meyer on that last 50, goes 33.90. He's at 210.25 for Joey Meyer from Reading and Berks County. Unofficially now your leader on the deck. On the men's side, heat number 4. On the women's side, heat number 4 in the water. So here we go. what did it take to get in on the women's breaststroke last year? It took a 2:21.48 to get into the C final, 2:21.01 to get into the B final, and a 2:18.51 to get into the A final last year. And over on the men's side, what did it take to get into this 200 breaststroke? 24th it was to get into the C final, 2:05.75, a 2:03.97 to get into the B final, and into the A final it took in morning swim a 2:01.75. So 2:03.97 B final and 2:05.75 on the C final. In the water right now, heat number 4 on the men's side. We've got Hensley in 1, Terentiev in 2, Harmon 3, Jewett 4. Abhishingji in 5, Powell in 6, Bobby Regan, there he is, Regional Y, Western Connecticut. Shout out to the Regan family. Good to see his brother swim. I just saw Bobby in a high school championship a few weeks ago. And Hartzell and his older brother was there cheering him on. Timmy, Billy, all of the Regan Y family. Shout out to the Fairfield Stags also. He did a great job at the MAC meet. So in Hartzell in lane number 8, and over on the women's side, heat number 4 in the water. Moravitz in 1, Dolan 2, McRoberts 3, Marino 4, Jurors 5, Cooper 6, Bradley 7, and Maley in lane number 8. So Hartzell followed by Regan here in heat number 4 of 13, 200 breaststroke. Pretty tight on the screen up there on the men's side. Hartzell from the Lowe's YMCA, still your leader with 25 to go. And then down here on the women's side out of lane number 2, it looks like Riley Dolan. I'm sorry, that's lane number 7. That's on the women's side. But still moving up, trying to make a race of this. And it will be Jack Powell. He goes 2:09.26. And he will be your leader on the deck unofficially. Jack Powell from Schrader, 2:09.26. And then on the women's side, they just finished up heat number 5. And on the men's side, we will have heat number 5 coming up, and the same on the women's side. Like women's side, we've got out of heat number 5 of 13, Haston 1, Smith 2, Hine 3, Burkhardt 4, Mitchell 5, Bykos in 6, Marino 7, and Eldridge in 8. And on the men's side, heat number 5 in the water was Smith in 1, Nappy 2, Stefanowicz 3, Robertson 4, Giselbach 5, Misra in 6, Lure 7, and Schwalm in lane number 8. On the women's side, that's Brianna Smith from Raleigh, North Carolina, Triangle area. She's out first. And your early leader up there in lane number 2. And on the men's side, out first was Milo Stefanowicz from the Greater Monmouth. He was 28.70. Smith still your leader at 106.96. Splitting 35.55. She's up there in lane number 2, and then down here in lane number 3 on the men's side, Milo Stefanovich at 101.01 at the 100. Stefanovich splitting 32.31. Trying to move up out of lane number 5 now is Giselbach, Danny Giselbach from York and York County, and it's still Brianna Smith up there in lane number 2 on the women's side. Making a push to 150 now. Milo Stefanowicz followed by Giselbach and then Nappy. And on the women's side, Brianna Smith followed by, I'm sorry, it's still Brianna Smith at 144.15. Trying to move up now out of lane number 5. Here comes Lily Mitchell from Emmy Lyons, but it will be, looks like Smith at a 2:22.60 as she takes that heat. And on the men's side, we've got Powell at 2:09.6, and on the women's side 2:22 for Brianna Smith. Nice swim. And on the women's side now in heat 6 of 13, Dini in 1, Erickson 2, Egerstrom 3, Rissa 4, Yusa 5, Carmella 6, Brzezinski 7, and Kiss in lane number 8. And on the men's side, heat number 6 now in the water. Franklin in 1, Beverini in 2, Johnson 3, Keys 4, McChristie in 5, Masneri in 6, Hepburn 7, and Aarons in lane number 8. Dini's out first on the women's side at a 31.85. He's from Phoenixville, 16 years old. And on the men's side out first from Spartanburg, that's Braden Franklin down here in lane number 1. Braden out 28.35. Pretty good swims going on right now through this heat. Early, and you can catch all the results on Meet Mobile or the YMCA website once we update through the events. So check them out. Very convenient for those of you listening at home. So thanks for tuning in to our YMCA Centennial National Short Course Championship meet. Streaming live here from Greensboro Aquatic Club Aquatic Center in Greensboro, North Carolina. So Dini still your leader at a 107.18 halfway through. Franklin down here in lane 1. A couple of lane 1s, but they're on the opposite side of the screen. You're watching the men's screen. Lane 1 at the bottom, lane 1 at the top on the women's screen. So Dini still leading at 144.40. And Franklin still leading at 133.36. Field tightening up. Beverini only 0.97 off of Franklin for first. And we're making a push. 1 and 8 are your outside lane leaders here on the women's side. Dini and Kiss. Dini was 144.40. And still making a push for Braden Franklin. It'll be Dini up top, and she'll go 2:23.45. Nice swim for Maddie Dini. And on the men's side, Braden Franklin, he goes 2:07.06. So that should be a leader on the deck unofficially for Braden Franklin. Nice swim right there. So heats number 7 now staging. And on the men's side, we've got Schoenfelder in lane number 1, Lagrimas in 2, Lau 3, Platt 4, Fanning 5, Apostle in 6, Denkin 7, and Ochoa in lane number 8 out of heat number 7. And on the women's side, Lewis in 1, Hadley 2, Peyton 3, Lely in 4, McGinnis in 5, Basile in 6, Hunt 7, and Kelly in lane number 8. Out first, Max Schoenfelder down here in lane number 1. And Schoenfelder from Lynchburg was out in 28.07. And on the women's side, out first, down here in lane number 7 is Fran Hunt. And Fran is from the Boise family, YMCA, out in 31.07. So 1/4 of the way through here on the 200 breaststroke. We're about halfway through our heats now. Schoenfelder still your leader on the men's side at a 1:00.82. And Schoenfelder splits 32.75. Behind him is Lagrimas at 1:02.01 in lane number 2. Keep your eye on there. Lane number 6 now moving up, Danielle Apostle. And on the women's side, Hunt at a 1:06.88, halfway through. Fran Hunt, 35.81 on that last bit. So here comes Apostle at a 1:34.53. You can see him near the top of your screen up there in lane number 6. Daniel Apostol from Billings Family YMCA. And he'll be moving through here. So Apostol trying to hold off the field here. McGinnis now your leader on the women's side from Greater Monmouth. And it will be Daniel Apostol going 2:09.23. A good swim there. Finishing up on the women's side here. Next up on the men's side, we will have heat number 8. That's Bean in 1, Wong 2, Henry 3, Gilmore 4, Wu 5, Kozik 6, Impin 7, and Nowasiak in lane number 8. And we're finishing up on the women's side. And it will be Eve McGinnis. She goes 2:23.47. A nice swim for Eve McGinnis from Greater Monmouth YMCA, followed by Basile and Tate. Out of heat number 7 in the water for the women. Up next will be Nimsek in 1, Switalski 2, Sanders 3, Robinson 4, Zenny 5, Fisher in 6, Davis 7, and Herbert in lane number 8. And on the men's side, now to lane number 3 near the bottom of the screen from New York and New York County, Christian Henry. He's out 28-21. And then over on the women's side, pretty good start right there. Center of the pool, Megan Robinson. She was off blocks in 0.68 seconds. But the field is tight, as you can see. And it's Nimsek at 31.70. Jossie Nimsek up there in lane number 1. Jossie Nimsek from Indian Valley, Connecticut, in the Hartford area. And Gilmore out in 1:00.96 on the men's side. Nick Gilmore from Springfield, Illinois. On the women's side up there in lane number 1, we still got Josie Nimsek. She's at 1:07.63, followed by Sanders and then Switalski. And on the men's side now, up there in lane number 8, there's from Nowasiak from Upper Main Line. I know he's got a sister in the meet. Your early lead, or your leader through 150. Nowasiak followed by Gilmore and then Wong. And on the women's side, it's Nimsek followed by Sanders and Switalski. We're coming up a finish on the men's side right now, 2:09.26 for your time. I'm sorry, 2:07.36. Braden Franklin has the fastest time so far. A pretty good swim right there, but 2:08.00. Jacob Nowasiak from Upper Main Line. And he'll just be behind Franklin from Greater Spartanburg. And on the women's side, looks like Casey Sanders, now your leader at Greater Somerset County, out of lane number 3. And it will be out of lane number 3. Sanders, she goes 2:22.00. So that will be your new leader on the deck unofficially. Sanders from Farmington Valley YMCA. Casey Sanders, great swim right there. And on the men's side, heat number 9 in the water, Gauthier in 1, Morgan 2, Grant in 3, Young 4, Fenton 5, Garthoner in 6, Lee 7, and Jones in lane number 8. And on the men's side, on the women's side now, we've got Cadigan in 1 in heat 9, Turco 2, Zirjak 3, Byers 4, Palmer 5, Betancourt 6, Who's 7, and Paluska in lane number 8. And on the men's side right now, we've got 31.34 coming off of that second 50 to 58.61 right now for Drew Garthofoner, I'm going to call it. And on the women's side, Sarah Palmer, your early leader, out in 31.62 out of lane number 5. Got the phone from Oshkosh, Wisconsin. Doing a pretty good swim right now at the 150 mark. Still your leader, followed by Granite in lane 3. He's out in 1:30.50. Byers, your leader now from Spartanburg on the women's side, halfway through, followed by Turco, and then Palmer. Byers at 1:07.26. Let's go with Garth Hoffner. How's that sound? That sounds better to me anyway. Drew Garth Hoffner, great swim at a 2:02.88. Nice job by Drew from Oshkosh, Wisconsin. He takes first, followed by Granite and then Fenton. And on the women's side, still leading through at the 150 mark, Caroline Byers from Greater Spartanburg. On the men's side, coming up, heat number 10, Dinishin 1, Hensley 2, Brown 3, Lohman 4, Lee 5, Mouse 6, Tack 7, and Zarvis in lane number 8. He's from Northwest Louisiana. And finishing up on the women's side, we'll see what happens here. And it will be Caroline Byers at 2:21.83. Nice swim for Caroline Byers. And she is followed by Turco and then Betancourt. And on the women's side, coming up next is Sudal in 1 out of heat 10, Nino 2, Malgin 3, Curtis 4, Romberg 5, Hassett 6, Miller 7, and Chow in lane number 8. That'll be heat number 10 of 13. Men's side, heat number 10 of 13 in the water. And your early leader was Aaron Lee. And it remains Aaron Lee at 1:00:30. Leader for Lee is from Greater Monmouth, YMCA. It's Jack Cashino's great team from Greater Monmouth. Get some finalists back as usual. A strong force here at YMCA National Swimming, long course and short course. So over on the women's side, we've got Gracie Malgin. She's out in 31:43. And Lee, still Aaron Lee from Greater Monmouth, still your leader through 150 at a 1:33.48, 33:18 on that last 50. Keep your eye on Evan Tack from Birmingham, trying to move up on lane number 7. But it looks like Lee all the way here. And the Lee will go 2:06.40. Nice swim right there by Aaron Lee. And he's followed by Mal and then Tack. And then over on the women's side, your leader, Grace Curtis from Upper Mainline, halfway through was 1:07.33. And she was followed by Hadar Miller and then Ella Romberg. Up next on the men's side, first of our 3 circle seated heats. Parker was 66 last year in lane 1. Fada 29th last year in lane 2. Dintino was not in the meet last year in lane 3. Vickers was 9th last year in 4. Smith 6th last year in 5. Siang did not swim in this meet last year in 6. Connolly 40th last year in 7. McKillop 93rd last year is in lane number 8. So we'll keep our eye on that first circle seated hit. Top time so far 2:02.88. Thomas Fenton, Drew Garth Hoffner from Oshkosh, Wisconsin. And he swam out of heat number 9. So over on the women's side, finishing up in first, 2:20.54, Hadar Miller. So 2:20.54, a nice swim for Hadar Miller from Upper Mainline. Great job. Out of heat number 10. Next up, heat number 11 on the women's side. Worrell, 44th last year's in 1 gal, 18th last year's in 2. Welsh, 6th last year's in 3. Zierjack did not swim in this meets in lane 4. She didn't swim last year. Augustine, 7th last year's in 5. Herbert, 11th last year's in 6. Velo, 7th last year's in 7. And Ross in lane number 8. Did not swim this event last year. So Smith on the men's side out first. You've got Smith at a 128.70. He's followed by Luke Vickers and then Caden Fata down here in lane number 2. And they're pushing for home now. See what these guys will do. Looking for a sub 200 if we can get there. Just over it for Jack Smith. So that's your top time so far. 200.01 for Jack Smith. Real good swim right there. Dropping some time. Smith followed by Vickers and then Fata. There's your top 3 coming out of that heat. And on the women's side right now, your leader, Sarah Zierjack from the Piedmont YMCA. Was not in this meet last year. She's 104.02. So on the men's side, heat number 12, second of our circle seated heats in the water. Lane number 2, 59th last year, Fournier. Lane number 3 is Stoner. It's 5th in the 4 IM. So on the 2 back earlier. We'll see him again later on. And lane number 3 is Moore, 38th last year. Lane number 4, second last year, is Caitlin Anbar from New Canaan. Lane number 5, 20th last year, Coletta. Lane number 6 is Bauer, 43rd last year. Kelty, 27th last year. Also swam the 1,000 last night in lane 7. And Han in lane number 8 was 51st last year. So trying to finish up here on the women's side of our first circle seated heat. And it will be Karzak. She goes 2:13.91. Great swim right there. Get over to the top time so far. And she's followed by Augustine and then Herbert. So a nice swim for those ladies coming out of heat number 11. And on the men's side right now, out of heat number 12 in the water, our leader is Kaylin Anbar, putting it together. Kaylin Anbar, a great season from the New Canaan YMCA. He's now at 128.52. So he's looking to go to sub 159 if he can. He comes in at a seed time 159. And over on the women's side, we've got heat number 12, second of our 3 circle seated heats in the water. But we'll watch Kaylin Anbar try to finish up here. Next to him down here in lane number 3, we've got Max Moore, who's 38th. He's from the Piedmont Y. Kaylin Anbar was second last year in this event. And it will be Anbar. He goes 2:00.45, second fastest time so far this morning. Good swim for Kaylin, followed by Moore and then Bauer. And over on the women's side in the pool right now, Smith in 128th last year, McQueen in 2, 17th last year, Sharma in 3, 8th last year, Franklin in 4, 3rd last year, Lavarini 24th last year's in 5, Yacciovello 25th last year's in 6. Reese did not swim in this meet last year, and Thomas 41st last year is in lane number 8. So Franklin out first at a 104.03 from Spartanburg. I mentioned she was 3rd last year in this event. And over on the men's side, heat number 13 of 13, final heat in the water. McGean is in lane number 146 last year. Lombardi 23rd last year is in 2. 18th last year. McDonald is in 3. Lane number 4, our defending champion, is Ethan Schwab. Lane number 5, 19th last year, Gregory Lynn, one of our student athletes who was on the committee. The meet committee this year, great young man. And then we've got Kara Hollis, 14th last year, so on the Hunter Flyer a little bit earlier. He's in 6th. And Elman, 1,000 last night, 39th last year, is in 7. And Partridge, 69th last year, is in lane number 8. So finishing up on the women's side here in heat number 12. Time to beat so far is a 2:13. Zirzak. And right now 2:13.82, so that is your new top time. Delaney Franklin from Greater Spartanburg. And she's followed by Lavarini and then Yacciovello. Love when her dad sings that national anthem out there in New York. And on the men's side, Ethan Schwab cruising through it at 125.64 through 150, 29.90 on that last split, followed by Angus McDonald from Birmingham, and then James Lombardi up down here in lane number 2 from Greater Monmouth. Final heat for the women is in the water, but we'll see what happens here with Schwab. He goes 156.92, so great swim right there. So Ethan Schwab looks like he'll hold down lane number 4 tonight. In that heat, he was followed by McDonald and then Lombardi. So some great swims there on the men's side on the 200 breast. Final heat in the water, Izzy Pfeiffer. This is heat number 13 of 13, third of our 3 circle seated heats. He was 10th in the mile last year. She's in lane number 1. Peyton Scott, 49th last year in this event, is in 2. Constable is in 3, 9th last year in the event. Our top seed coming in from Schrader, Tori Broskowitz, is our defending champion from last year. Grace Hunt is in lane 5, 10th last year. McAlpine, 32nd last year, is in lane number 6. Ben Dahl, 35th last year, is in 7. And Francis did not swim in this meet. But Brostowicz out in 104.78, just above where Delaney Franklin was earlier. She was a 104.3. 104.7, about 4/10 of a second behind where Franklin was. We'll see what she has on the back half. Our defending champion, Tori Brostowitz from Schrader, Wisconsin. Center of the pool, followed by Emily Constable, Fanwood Scotch Plains, and then Elliot McAlpine from Rapid Area. Now Grace Hunt, your leader on the women's side in this final heat. It was at a 140.53. Sorry, 140.34. About 2/10 of a second ahead of Brostowicz, a defending champion. So Grace Hunt over there in lane number 5. Top of your screen, lane number 1. Bottom of your screen, lane number 8. Here comes Brostowicz. Pretty good push off that wall. Also want to keep her eye on lane number 3. Emily Constable from Fanwood Scotch Plains. Really having a nice finish here on this final heat, and it will be Grace Hunt. She goes 2:16.98. Top seed looks like it will be going in Delaney Franklin, followed by Sarah Zirzak from Piedmont. Those should be your top 2 seeds going in, but a great swim right there. It's Hunt, followed by Brostowicz, and then Constable. And that'll conclude our preliminary swimming here this morning from the Greater Greensboro Aquatic Center here for our centennial year. 100 years of YMCA Short Course Nationals. Day number 2, preliminaries now in the books. I've got some preliminary results. They will be up online shortly. We should have some great finals moving through our finals tonight, and we'll be back here later on tonight. The start time for our opening ceremonies is 4:50, so I'd be tuning in as early as possible. Tonight we have our parade of athletes, our centennial celebration. That's always a great event. We'll be doing a little bit of trivia up in the stands with some fans, some swim fans. But again, I want to thank you for joining us this morning. We have a 400-yard medley relay preliminary round coming up in about 15 minutes. So we'll see those events get underway here momentarily. At the time of day here on the East Coast, 10:30 a.m. Take about a 15-minute break. Thanks for joining us as we stream live from the Greensboro Aquatic Center, Greensboro, North Carolina, 2023 YMCA Short Course Nationals. I'm your host and online meet announcer, Bob McDowell. Thanks for joining us. We'll be back in about 13 or 14 minutes.
on point.
Whether it be a swimmer,
So here we go with some relays. You heard Bruce's relay call there. 400-yard medley relay on the men's side staging now. And we'll start the women's in a few minutes, so we'll get the men's side going. For you. Welcome back to streaming live here from Greensboro, North Carolina. And my name's Bob McDowell. I'll be back here momentarily. Looks like we've got a little bit of a delayed start, so hang in there. Having a good morning so far. Some great swims coming out of the Backstroke 2 back, 100 fly, and 200 breaststroke events. And we'll conclude this morning with this 100 medley relay, trying to get those top 16 times back for tonight's swims. And over on the men's side now, we have the full 100-yard medley relay in the water. Kanaha, YMCA with McLaughlin in on the back. Mikoff for Youngstown in lane number 4. Kase for Hagerstown is in 5. And Layton for Bath area, Maine, is in lane 6. Your breaststrokers are in now. Smith in 3. Satterfield 4, Detweiler 5, and Saunders in 6. So your leaders right now out of lane number 3 is Kanaha YMCA. They were out right now 120, 146 halfway through the breaststroke. On the women's side, Middle Tiger, your national championship record. Gaylor, Falconer, Snover, and Konopka, they were 337.81. And I'll go through those ladies once they hit the water. And on the men's side now, Hamrick in 3, Latinazio in 4, Long in 5, and McDonough in 6. Kanaha, still your leader. They're at 2:19.43. I'm sorry, down there in lane number 6 now. Bath area now moving in front, up there in lane number 6. And over on the women's side, it's Gusson in 1 for Westport Weston, Rodriguez in 2 for Metropolitan Y of the Oranges, Crosley in 3 with Clippert. 4 is Lima with Schmuller. 5 is Severna Park with Lon. 6 is Munashina for Pocono. And 7 is Summers from Hamilton. So 400-yard medley relay, and in the water for the men now is Yang in 3, Burnett 4, Karsmak in 5, and Rowe in 6. And now starting to pull away, Bath area, Maine. You know, Jay Marset, the coach there, coaching a long time. Had a great story last night at our alumni gathering for the 100th anniversary. Great job by the Y of the USA putting that together. And there, right up there, Rodriguez out. Wow, she's out 54.63. Pretty good out by Sarah Rodriguez. We'll see her in the 200 back final. And on the men's side right now, that is Bath area. They go 3:35.45. So they'll lead the way coming out of heat number 1. Heat number 2 now staging for the men. And on the women's side, we have our breaststrokers in. That's Murray in 1, Wang in 2, Spetz in 3, Newman 4, Lislow in 5, Tassinari in 6, and Rogue in 7. Once again, lane 1 at the top of your screen on the women's side. Lane number 1 at the bottom of your screen on the men's side. Heat 2 now staging for the men. Heat number 1 remains in the water for the women. And on the men's side, we will see DeBuck in lane number 1 for Central Maryland. Lane number 2 is Randolph with Ben Joseph. Ben Joseph in lane number 3 for Lima is Ballas. Lane number 4 for Foothills is Owens. Lane number 5, Begansky for Phoenixville. Lane number 6, Pierce for Westfield. Lane number 7 is Bennett's for Farmington. And lane number 8, Johnson for Springfield. And on the women's side now, the Flyers are in. Ivanovich in 1, Glenn 2, Lang 3, Baumgartner 4, Boger 5, Wolbert 6, and Landers in 7. And your leaders right now, Powell Crosley, and they're followed by Metropolitan Y, the Oranges, and then Westport Weston up there in 1. On the men's side, going out in A. Down here, lane number 2, 52.78. That was Aiden Ochoa. I'm sorry, that was Itai Ben Yusuf. In the water on the men's side, Yang in 1, Ochoa in 2, Cleves 3, Henry 4, Sadowski 5, Lewis 6, Holdridge 7, and Gilmore in 8. And over on the women's side, your anchors are in. Bolin in 1, Day Kutlarzi in 2, Latimer in 3, Bauer 4, Raines 5, Gutierrez 6, and in 7 is Bass. So still now looks like Powell Crosley on the women's side. That's Mia Latimer in the water for the Powell Crosley Tiger Sharks and Mike Leonard's team. Coach Mike Leonard does a great job with them. And it will be a 3:56 for Powell Crosley, 3:56.27 for the Tiger Sharks out of Heat 1. And on the men's side now we have our Flyers in. That's Yu in 1, Malave in 2, Welker 3, Crowley 4, Carroll 5, Miller 6, Zhao 7, and Sullins in 8. And your early leaders still are out of lane number 2. That's Randolph YMCA down here in the pink caps. Staging for the women, heat number 2 coming up of 7. Here comes out of lane number 4 your Foothills Y. That was Crowley Phelan, assuming that fly leg. Anchors away on the men's side. We've got Morin in a 1, Potch 2, Weir Willie in 3, Zeller 4, Darrig 5, Altman 6, Sosanowski 7, and Allen in 8. Leaders now, Foothills. That's South Carolina, the 3:09.23, halfway through the freestyle, but now kind of moved back into it is Randolph with Connor Poach trying to make a push. Be a good finish here, and it will be Randolph. Finish number 3:35.14, 25:40 coming back for Connor Poach. So we've got that 3:35.14. Now they are your leaders on the deck unofficially. Randolph Y through 2 heats. Still staging on the women's side. It'll be heat 2 of 7, and it'll be Madison in lane number 1 with Miller. Phoenixville with Sadowski in 2. Farmington Family with Pan in 3. Lynchburg with Judy in 4. Summit in 5 with Dobb. Wilton, the Wilton Y Wahoos with Anya Iyer. It will be in lane number 6. Lane 7 is Grace Hurley from Westchester, lane number 8, Kennett and Jennersville with Perrin. And your women's heat is off. This is heat number 2 in the water for the women. And over on the men's side, we've got Northwest Louisiana in lane number 1 with Bernard, Central Bucks Family Y with Mangan in 2. La Crosse with Schmeling in 3. New Canaan with Pastushin in 4. Parkersburg in 5 with Pretty. Lane 6 is Nashua, Greater Nashua with Jewett. Lane 7, McGraw from Chambersburg. In lane number 8, McLean from Auglaize Mercer. So pretty big lead right now going on with Amy Pan for Farmington on the women's side. Pan was out in 26.93. Being followed by Phoenixville and then Iyer for the Wilton Y Wahoos. So Pan, big swim right there to 56.24. And we'll see our breaststrokers moving in now for the women. That's Barton in 1, Deany 2, Sanders 3, Falwell 4, Zhang 5, Virginia Hastings in 6, Carmela 7, and Claire Livingston in 8. And on the men's side, here come your backstrokers finishing up, and it's a 51.55 for lane 6 Nashua. They're your early leaders, and that was Dylan Jewett. So Joseph in 1 on the men's side, Mahoney 2, Lohman 3, Anbar 4, Sasson 5, Daly 6, White 7, and Aarons in 8. Keep your eye on Kalen Anbar as he'll try to bring those New Canaan Caymans back into this race. Heat number 3 of 8 on the men's side. Heat number 2 of 7 on the women's side. Big lead there out of lane number 3. Farmington Family, that was Sanders with a great breaststroke leg. Farmington at 2:02.18, followed by the Wilton Y Wahoos and then Phoenixville. So in the water right now on the women's side, Gillen in 1, Hummel 2, Diorico 3, Bauer 4, Washburn 5, Sid Lillis in 6, Sarah McGann 7, and Caitlin Burke in lane number 8. And on the men's side, we have our flyers in. Nicolesi 1, Hoffman 2, Bruns 3, Mascarenas in 4, Francis 5, Rantala in 6, Tasker 7, and Jiang in 8. Your leaders are the New Canaan Y Caymans. Anbar came all the way back, put them in that lead, and oh my goodness, on the women's side we've got Farmington through the fly, and they are 2:59.37. Big lead right there for the Farmington Family YMCA out of Michigan. And your freestylers are in. Mick Lazewski in 1, Lewis 2, Tag 3, Fenton 4, Dwyer 5, Anya Congareta Terra in 6, Ellie McNamara 7, and Addie Scott in 8. And over on the men's side, Peacock 1, Wakefield 2, Regan 3, Madden 4, Howe 5, White 6, Estep 7, and Newcomb in lane number 8. So it looks like we've got Farmington Family followed by Wilton on the women's side. Wilton Wahoo's down here in lane number 6 with the yellow caps, but up there we've got a great time of 3:55.48 for the Farmington Family Y. And over on the men's side, finishing up 3:35.14 for New Canaan. And there your, looks like they may be tied 3:35.14. I'm sorry, I have the wrong time. It's a 3:30.44. So they're your leader on the deck right now. New Canaan YMCA out of Connecticut. And we'll move over onto our next heats. They're staging behind, and it'll be the men up first. Men will be in heat number 4, and that's Northwest North Carolina in lane number 1 with Frondoza. Oshkosh 2 with Garth Hoffner. In lane number 3, Schneider Y with Lamb. Rock River is in 4 with Taylor. Lane 5 is Barwick for Woodson. Cheshire has Lagameo in 6. Upper Palmetto has Adcock in 7. Then Summit is in lane 8 with Moon. And over on the women's side, it will be Bogan for Columbia Northwest in lane 1. Butler in lane 2 with Rhea. 3 is Oshkosh with Bostenik. Botensek. Sorry about that. Chippewa Valley with Arnold in 4. Oja from Westfield in 5. For Boise in 6, it's Hunt. 7 is Fusco for Regional Y West from Connecticut. In lane 8, Rapid Area with McGee. And on our backs right now on the men's side, out first, out of lane number 4, that was Rock Rivers Camden Taylor. He was 51.04. So Rock River, your early leader. Breaststrokers in, Wells in 1, Carlton 2, Lamb 3, Shields 4, Beatty 5, Lee 6, Impton 7, and Wong in 8. Still waiting on the women's heat 3 to stage and put into the pool. And we've still got the men now. It is Schneider now your leader at 1:18.17. So with Johnny Lamb in the water on the breaststroke. Looks like we'll be about ready for the women's event, heat 3. Top time so far on the men's side, 3:30.44 for New Canaan. Trying to get back into a top 16 position from tonight. On the men's side now, heat 4 is Ponce de Leon in lane number 1, Aguilar 2, Littleton 3, Muller 4, Arrowwood 5. So Torreski in 6, and Dolly Hyde 7, and Wong in 8. And your leader remains Schneider Y out of, the tide now. It's Northwest North Carolina with Ponce de Leon coming through on that first 50 fly. He was split in 23-28, so it's a tide. And then Schneider. So Northwest North Carolina, your leader. We'll see what happens here at the end of this. But you've got out of lane number 6 now moving up. And that's the Cheshire Y Sea Dogs. Great by Zartarditsky. And now your anchors are in. Vargas 1, Trustman 2, Crest 3, Hendricks 4, Mayer 5, Gauthier 6, McCrae 7, and Moon in 8. And over on the women's side, as I mentioned earlier, introduced that group. It looks like your early leader out of lane 2 is Butler. And we've got Boyce in 1, Laverini 2, Romberg 3, Augustine 4, Kavanaugh 5, Hunt in 6, Herbert in 7, and McAlpine in 8. And here come the Cheshire Y Sea Dogs with Gauthier in for them, and they finish up strong. That was Vargas and Trustman, who Gauthier finishes up for the Cheshire Y Sea Dogs, and they are at 3:29.07. So now they look to be your early leader on the deck unofficially. And now your breaststrokers in for the women. And your leader seems to be Butler, in Butler County YMCA. And it's still Butler. Great leg there by Laverini. So Butler followed by Boise down here in lane 6 with those yellow caps. Bonnevilla is in 1 on the women's side. Vance 2, Hirschbrunner 3, Watson 4, Bevel 5, McFarland 6, Dorr 7, and Heinen 8. And coming up on the men's side, heat number 5 of 8, Blue Ash with Gustafson in 1, Redding and Burks with Jones in 2, Powell Crosby with Gibbons in 3, Payne in 4 for Springfield. Boyertown has Schaefer in lane number 5, Plattnop, Westport, Weston is in 6, Arnold in 7 for Kennebec Valley in lane number 8, Broika for Madison. As your backstrokers in and your flyers are in on the women's side, as I mentioned. And it's tightened up quite a bit on the women's side. Looks like Oshkosh may now be your leader. Nope, it is Chippewa Valley. And now your anchors are in on the women's side. Hankins 1, Olasansky 2, Deechweller 4, 3, Stennis 4, Williamson 5, Stanton 6, Hexus 7, and Wojciechowicz in lane number 8. On the men's side, 48-65. Pretty good swing going out. On the back for Springfield's Jarrett Payne. Pretty big swim right there. In the water right now, Pylinski in 1, Fanning 2, Stankin 3, Rickett 4, Green 5, Ivanov 6, Fournier 7, and Abbasing in lane number 8. And on the women's side, I believe we mentioned that group. We did, and they finish up out of lane number 3, 3:55.21 is Oshkosh. Great job for Oshkosh. And they look to be your leader on the deck now unofficially. Breaststrokers in for the men. And your leaders on the men's side right now. So I've got a lane 7, Kennebec Valley was your leader after the breaststroke. And your flyers are in. Galat in 1, Eisenhofer 2, Silverstone 3, 4, Green in 5, Twist in 6, Casares in 7, and Snar in lane number 8. Staging for the women out of heat number 4 for Upper Palmetto. In 1 is Corby. Ridley has Dispo in 2, Kupski in 3 for Wilkes-Barre. 10 Hunfeld for South is in 4, Anderson for Birmingham Families in 5, Lau for Greensboro in 6, Presley, Northwest North Carolina is in 7, and Wagner in 8 for Blue Ash. So your leaders now on the men's side going into the anchor leg. That's Boyertown. And Nick Green had a great fly leg. Menschoffer in 1, Woshner 2, Myers 3, Blazer 4, Ovidas 5, Berkowitz 6, Cloud 7, and Fahara in lane number 8. And then on the back right now, early leader out of lane number 6, Greensboro with 13-year-old Lauriena. And on the men's side, lane 5, it's Boyertown. Great swim at a 3:26.88. Now your leader on the deck unofficially. For the boys from Boyertown through 5 heats. Coming up now, first of our 3 circle-seated heats. The 400 medley relay. So your breaststrokers in on the women's side. Lane 1 is Hayes DePost in 2. That's Ava DePaul. And Kelly in 3. Ganger in 4. Hassett in 5. Williams 6. Delega in 7. And Riley in 8. A nice swim right here for Greensboro. It's Jordan Williams. And on the breast down here in lane number 6. Your leaders, but now trying to move up out of lane number 4. Here comes Gracie Ganger from South Family YMCA. On the men's side, looks like heat number 6, first of our 3 circle-seeded heats. Champaign in 1 with Miller, St. Cloud in 2 with Hogan, Greensboro in 3 with Edwards, 4 is Racement with Farmington Valley, 5 Wilkes-Barre Kupski, 6 Stoltz from Upper Mainline, Countryside has Tinsley in at 7, and Bacall for Spartanburg in lane number 8. And your leaders are your South Family, Kettering, Ohio, YMCA, halfway through. So here are your flyers in. Riggin 1, McLean 2, Collins 3, Kier 4, Clifford 5, Upton 6, Rondoza 7, and Hoffman in 8. So Kettering still your leaders. And St. Cloud out first on the men's side in 24:04. And that's Connor Hogan down here in lane number 2. You can see him on your screen. Once again, women's side, lane 1 at the top of your screen. On the men's side, it's lane 8 at the top of your screen. So here come our flyers on the women's side. And it's still Kettering, Ohio to 3:01.93, followed by Greensboro. And here we are on the women's side with our freestylers in Corby 1, Kubiak 2, Stauffer 3, Ted Hunfeld, that's Ava in 4, Jansen 5, Gill 6, Welburn 7, and Smythe in 8. And on the men's side, we've got our breaststrokers in, Barga 1, Walsh 2, Brown 3, Stevens 4, Healy 5, Lucan 6, Galata in 7, and Turnus in 8. And your leader is Farmington Valley, Connecticut there at 1:17.35. And on the women's side, time to beat right now is 3:55.21. On the men's side, it's 3:26.88. 3:55 was Oshkosh. On the women's side, 3:26.88 was Boyertown on the men's side. And it's Kettering at 3:55.65. So they're your second fastest time through those heats. Greensboro on the men's side, now your leader. So Greensboro now moves up with great leg by Mark Brown on the breast. And it's Miller in 1, Davis 2, Rock 3, Rusnock 4, Ackelbeckoff in 5, Mao in 6, Ballard 7, and Smiley in 8 for the men on the fly leg. And it still looks like it is down here in lane number 2, St. Cloud area YMCA. Leading halfway through, pretty big, about a body length lead for the St. Cloud swimmer. It's Micah Davis, 15 years old, and anchors away on the men's side. St. Cloud just over Farmington Valley, and then Wilkes-Barre, and your anchors are in on the men's side. That's Williams in 1, Lenars 2, Gray 3, Wolf 4, Watkins 5, Richard 6, Williams 7, and Jordan in 8. So St. Cloud going to try to hold off the field, but now moving up Farmington Valley with Will Blake. And you can see now they're only 0.35 of a second behind them, with Wilkes-Barre now making a charge. Up there in lane number 5, here comes Wilkes-Barre with Watkins Maddock. Also up there in lane number 8, Colin Jordan making the move. But it will be Wilkes-Barre. They get 3:26.30, and unofficially they take the lead through 6 heats. Nice swim there on the anchor by Maddock Watkins. And here we are on the women's side, as we've got our backstrokers in on heat number 5. And that's O'Toole for Emmy Lyons in 1, Bardo in 2 for Cheshire. Boyertown has Mayja in 3, Healy in 4 for Yoda, Lawrence in 5 for Wyckoff, Hatch in 6 for East Hampton, Jewett in 7 for Nashua, and Ramsey in 8 for Reading and Berks County. And out first is Wyckoff. Katie Lawrence, she goes 54.42. Breaststrokers in, Mitchell 1, Tiernan 2, Carl 3, Smith 4, Rourke 5, Brierly 6, Below 7, and Gallup in lane number 8. So your leader out of lane number 5 right now, Wyckoff, with Megan O'Rourke halfway through the breast leg. And she splits 31-20. It's 125-62 for the team so far. And over on the men's side, trying to beat that 326.30 by Wilkes-Barre. Wyckoff will have Sam Skibbo in 1, Ridley with John Houle in 2, Stoner in 3 for Triangle, Kavanaugh in 4 for Fanwood Scotch Plains, King in 5 for Piedmont, Whitfield in 6 for Lynchburg, Duncan in 7 for Birmingham, and Juhaz in 8 for Western. And finishing up now, it's still Wyckoff, your leaders as the Flyers are in. And here are your Flyers. Luttrell in 1, Tyler 2, Hess 3, Mitchell 4, Lee 5, Jones 6, Wilson 7, and Annie Gal in 8. Lynchburg out first on the men's side. That was Brendan Whitfield. Pretty zippy going out. Right next to him, Piedmont David King. And it will be a Lynchburg with Whitfield. They're out in a zippy 47-63, 47-93 for Piedmont and David King. So your breaststrokers are in. Seong in 1, Kuda Farris in 2, Ayers 3, McGee in 4, Smith 5, Fenton 6, McDonald 7, Cara Hallis in 8. And over on the women's side, your Flyers are in. I'm sorry, your freestyle anchors are in. Sutton in 1, Potorala in 2, Tanis 3, Ben Zudenhout in 4, Wolf 5, Pitchison 6, Jeffers 7, and Knopf-Snyder in 8. And it's the Cheshire YC Dogs with Avery Potorala. They're at 3:23. Trying to open it up, but now making a charge out of lane number 5. That's Whitecott's Jesse Wolf. And on the men's side here, we're heading in for our Flyers. We'll call the rest of this on the women's side, and it'll be a 3:50.99 for the Cheshire YC Dogs. Now your leaders on the deck as they win the first circle seeded heat. And on the men's side, your Flyers are in with 3 and 1, Eckler 2, Eichheit 3, Jones 4, Brown 5, Mills 6, Schwab 7, and Bird in 8. Piedmont now taking about a 2-body length lead as the freestylers go in. Piedmont at 2:32.29 through the fly. Grannon in 1, Kennedy 2, Paleocrassus in 3, Wable 4, Wang 5, Gordon 6, Higgins 7, and a Redding in lane number 8. So staging on the women's side for heat 5 of 7, first of our 3 circle seeded heats. Piedmont ahead of Triangle, and then Lynchburg almost 2 seconds ahead of the field for Piedmont. Wang in the water for Piedmont right now. Now we'll get to our women's backstrokers here momentarily as they just entered the water for heat number 5. So this is heat 7 finishing up on the men's side, and it's Piedmont. They go 3:18.99, and that will be your top time through. 7 heats, final heat coming up on the men's side. Over on the women's side, O'Toole in 1 for Emily. I'm sorry. Got to get to the women's, the right heat here. And it's heat 6 in the water. Schweikert for Countryside in 1, Claiborne for Lowe in 2, Penny for Spartanburg in 3, Lemler for Schrader in 4, Sargent in 5 for Upper Mainland, Fox in 6 for Farmington Valley, Bendakis in 7 for Monmouth, and in the lane number 8, Winnicki for Woodson. And your leader going out 54.73 for Countryside. That was Schweikert with a great start there. Lead off leg of the backstroke. So Fisher in on the breast for In lane 1, Betancourt 2, Franklin 3, Berlin 4, Miller 5, Headley 6, McGinnis 7, and McQueen in 8. And over on the men's side, heat number 8 final heat, 3 circle seated heats. Ham will be in 1 for Jackson, Myers in 2 for Emmy Lyons, Condon in 3 for Monmouth, Somerset County Gould in 4, Welford in 5, Lorenz in 6, Johnson in 7 for Lakeland Hill, Schrader's in 6, York and York County's in 5, and Horan in 8 for Regional Y Western Connecticut. And then on the women's side, we have our breaststrokers in. Fisher in 1, Betancourt 2, Franklin 3, Berlin 4, and they're just finishing up. And it is Schrader out of lane number 4. Berlin put in a nice breaststroke leg. Now we've got Ketchum in 1, Bush 2, Sibilaskis in 3, Brostowitz 4, Padilla 5, Richard 6, Freeman 7, and Blenner in 8. And on the men's side, finish up 46-83. Great swim right there for Schrader's Sam Lorenz, 46-83. On the back, the breaststrokers in, Vickers 1, Platt 2, Lee 3, Barnacle 4, Parker 5, Strapp 6, Connolly 7, and Keenan 8 on the men's side. And the Flyers in on the women's side, that's Ketchum 1, Bush 2. As I mentioned, Valeskis in 3. So there's your leader in 4, Kenzie Padilla, also in 5. Schrader still your leader at 253.82, followed by Upper Main Line, and then Spartanburg. Time to beat on the men's side, 3:18.99 for Piedmont out of the previous heat. Now really evening up here on the men's side of the breaststroke. York is still your leader, followed by Schrader. So York with a good breaststroke leg right there from from Wilt Parker. So now we've got Herring in 1, Dostal 2, Renner 3, Ferrioli 4, Hidalgo 5, Lapine 6, Coogan Russell 7, and Godino in lane number 8. The Regional Y, Western Connecticut. Anchors away on the women's side. Schweiker in 1, Bellissimo 2. Missed those, unfortunately, but let's see where we end up here. Schrader, they go 3:44.82. Wilson was in there. 3, Art 4, Fulton 5, Machine 6, Cross 7, and Francis 8. So there's your 3:44.82 on the women's side. A little bit swim. And on the men's side, your anchors are in. Niston 1, Craft 2, Kunzel 3, Alexi 4, Wade 5, Sullivan 6, Markowitz 7, and Thompson in 8. And with 50 to go, Schrader splits 20.97. Here comes Alexi, Rob Alexi at 20.64. Now moving up. Schrader in a real good swim. And they will finish up at 3:18.06. Unofficially, they'll be your top seed tonight. And again, in your final heat on the women's side, down the water. So Lehigh's in lane 1 with Sopka. Lane 2 is Lakeland Hills with Habjan. Addison's in lane number 3 for Piedmont. Your top seed coming in with Charlotte Holiday on the back. Greater Somerset County. Then with Scotch Plains with Logan in 5. Way is in 6 for York and York County. Colburn in 7 for Western Branch, Delaware. And then McAndrew in 8 for Champaign County. Up there in lane number 2, Ella Habjan. And down here in lane number 5, center of the pool, Claire Logan. And a pretty good backstroke leg. And it looks like Logan out first. She was out 54.71. The new breaststrokers in, Paluska in lane 1, Davis 2. Zirjak 3, Sharma 4, Constable 5, Yakiovella in 6. Wynn in 7, and Bradley in lane number 8. Now, good time to beat, 3:44.82 from Schrader. Now the previous heat, Fanwood Scotch Plains now your leader at 1:23. Center of the pool with Emily Constable trying to take control here. This is our final heat this morning. Don't forget, tonight we'll be back here starting our events at about 4:45 with that parade, 4:40. Still Fanwood Scotch Plains at 1:57.20 halfway through into the fly leg, followed by Greater Somerset County about a little over 2 seconds behind, and then Lakeland Hills, New Jersey at 2:00.06. So your Flyers in, and Cudlack in 1, Capone in 2, Thomas 3, Thompson in 4, Sherratt in 5, Schneider 6, Napier 7, and Co. in 8. Trying to move up out of lane number 4, Greater Somerset County, and Emily Thompson. We saw her earlier in the 2 fly, and they may have almost come all the way back. And now it is just 0.22 of a second lead for Fanwood Scotch Plains over Somerset County, Greater Somerset County. So we've got Riley Cudlack in 1, Carly Frank in 2. Ismailova in 3. Anna Mosh, our 50 and 100 freestyle record holder, is in 4 for Greater Somerset County. Ritter's in 5 for Fanwood Scotch Plains, Catherine Ritter. Havas in lane number 8. I'm sorry, in 6. In 7 is Fitzgerald. 8 is O'Donnell. So here comes Anna Mosh, member of our junior Pan Pac long course team last summer, with Emily Thompson, and they'll cruise in this morning. Trying to beat that 3:44, and they'll be under that at a 3:42.44, and they're followed by Fanwood Scotch Plains. So it looks like Schrader will be unofficially in 2nd tonight with that 3:44, but the 3:42.44 takes the final heat and looks to be seated first tonight, and that is unofficial. So once again, we thank you for watching this morning, our streaming live version here from the Greensboro Aquatic Center in beautiful Greensboro, North Carolina. Tournament time for our Centennial YMCA Swimming Championship. Don't forget to tune back in tonight for our Parade of Athletes, which starts at 4:50 p.m. So don't be late for that. That's always a festive event. A lot of fun on the deck. Doing a great job here in Greensboro as usual. All of our officials, our meet workers in our host site. Greensboro, North Carolina. I'm Bob McDowell signing off for this morning, and we'll see you back here later on this evening. Check out your Meet Mobile and your YMCA website for those meet results from this morning. Have a good afternoon.